All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. We're looking at the grueling, absolutely glorious final leg of Steve Van Beek's 720-mile paddle down Thailand's waterways. It's a journey that literally tests the limits of human endurance, and we're pulling this right from his first-hand account. This is the story of a guy who decided to truly understand the lifeblood of Thailand, the Chao Phraya River. And he didn't do it from the comfort of a motorized boat. No way. He paddled every single inch of it himself.
Today, we'll map his descent and track the escalating physical toll, starting with the birth of the Chao Phraya, echoing through ancient Ayutthaya, battling the ocean tides, navigating Bangkok's urban chaos, and finally reaching the open sea.
Section 1. The birth of the Chao Phraya.
So, we kick things off at the city of Nakhon Sawan. After spending over a month navigating these wild, steep rapids up north, our traveler hits a massive geographical milestone. The river's gradient just flattens right out. We're talking a drop of a mere 4 inches per mile. And right here is where you witness the exact moment the Chao Phraya is born. For over a mile, two totally distinct bodies of water flow right side by side. On the right, you've got the pure green waters of the Ping River, which Van Beek followed all the way from its remote source. And on the left, the muddy brown Nan River. The dividing line is so incredibly sharp you could run a knife along it. Eventually, in this giant swirling curl of whirlpools, the pure green Ping is completely swallowed up by the muddy brown Nan. Its former existence is just erased. Together, they form the Chao Phraya, literally the mother of waters.
But this birthplace isn't some pristine, untouched sanctuary. Nope. Here, Van Beek leaves those tranquil northern villages completely behind and just crashes headfirst into modern Thailand. He's suddenly greeted by a staggering 45-foot concrete seawall that completely cuts the city off from the river. Navigating this harsh urban jungle, he encounters raw sewage literally pouring from concrete culverts and local guys shouting down at this strange, sunburned foreigner from high up on the parapets. It is a super jarring, abrupt end to his wilderness isolation.
Moving right along to Section 2, Echoes of Ancient Ayutthaya.
The Chao Phraya isn't just a river, right? It's basically the royal highway upon which Thai history was built. Paddling past men stomping clay and rice husks in pits to make bricks, using techniques literally as old as the pharaohs, Van Beek passes straight from the cultural pale of the 13th century Sukhothai kingdom right into the ruins of Ayutthaya. For over 400 years, from 1351 to 1767, Ayutthaya was the absolute center of the Thai universe, long before the capital eventually moved downriver to Bangkok. And the riverbanks here, they turned into a living, breathing museum of global history. It really reminds us that Ayutthaya was this massive cosmopolitan hub for international trade. You've got this beautiful, totally unexpected tapestry. There's Wat Buddha Isawan, this massive Buddhist temple dating way back to 1353. But then, just downstream, boom, there's St. Joseph's Cathedral, built by 17th century French Catholics. You also pass these distinct riverside mosques, marking communities founded centuries ago by North African mercenaries who were actually hired to man the river forts. It's just a stunning architectural record of a highly globalized ancient world.
Section 3. Battling the Ocean Tides. Now here's where things get wild. The agonizing twist Van Beek faces at the town of Ang Thong is that he is a full 115 miles inland, yet the ocean tide from the Gulf of Thailand is actively pushing the river upstream. Because the elevation of the land is just so incredibly low, that tidal force travels massively far inland, and it grinds his progress to an absolute halt. I mean, he literally finds himself paddling backward. A journey he thought was going to wrap up in days suddenly stretches out as he has to battle a river that is fighting him for every single inch.
This tidal force is so powerful and honestly so mysterious that it's birthed its own local legends. Seasoned boatmen respect this invisible tide-driven force so much that they attribute it to Javet, a male god residing in a riverside shrine at Lante. When their heavy diesel engines suddenly fail against the current, these guys don't reach for a wrench. No, they immediately paddle over to the shrine to offer chickens, flowers, and whiskey to the local river spirits. They completely believe that only spiritual appeasement is going to restart their engines and let them pass. It's totally fascinating.
Which brings us to Section 4, Navigating Bangkok's Urban Chaos.
Exhausted, severely sleep-deprived, and fighting hands that are so numb they've basically permanently curled into claws around his paddle, our traveler is suddenly swallowed whole by the massive sensory overload of Bangkok. The transition from rural tranquility to this industrial metropolis is brutal. It is totally unyielding. The challenges just stack up so incredibly fast. First, Those unrelenting upstream ocean tides, yeah, they're violently magnified now. Second, he's definitely not sharing the water with little wooden sampans anymore. He's dodging massive, orange, multi-ton freighters in the Klong Tui harbor. Their wakes could easily crush his tiny boat. And third, the pollution becomes deeply visceral. He's forced to take cold showers on floating docks that are literally resting on top of thick, rotting garbage, styrofoam, and suffocating oil slicks. At this point, the river is biologically dead.
Yet right in the middle of all this horrific chaos and sheer physical misery, there's this totally surreal moment of triumph. Word of his incredible journey had actually reached the national press. As he paddles past this oily, gross dock, a tattooed local holding the front page of the Thai Roth newspaper spots him. The guy just starts waving the paper wildly, cheering him on like an absolute hero, shouting, "Satay of Wan Beek, gang gang," which means brave, brave. It's this incredible, much-needed jolt of human connection right when his spirits had hit rock bottom.
Section 5. Reaching the Open Sea.
As he finally pushes past the massive congestion of the city, that concrete skyline fades away into swaying nipa palms. The air clears up, the river widens vastly, and the ultimate destination finally comes into view. We are in the final hours of the long journey. He chooses to spend his very last night on the river at Wat Pracheti Kleng Nam. That translates to the stupa in the middle of the river. For over a century, this whitewashed temple was the historic beacon for sailors and kings heading out to or coming back from distant oceans. And here, he finds some really profound spiritual grounding. The local monks give him shelter, and on his final morning he joins them on a silent, barefoot alms walk through the village. It's this beautiful moment of deep meditation before his very last push toward the sea.
So he gets back into the boat for the last time. Seeking some closure and wanting to thank the river gods for keeping him safe, he performs a little ritual. He places a beautiful spray of mauve orchids on the bow of his boat, and he lights a dozen incense sticks right in the anchor chain hole. He closes his eyes in gratitude. But, well, when he opens them, reality totally interrupts the divine. The burning stems had slipped down the hole, accidentally filling the enclosed hull of his boat with thick, fragrant smoke. He literally has to frantically pour river water over them to stop his boat from catching fire. Talk about a dramatic exit.
After 58 grueling, life-changing days, the landscape finally vanishes entirely. The current pushes him out past the muddy banks. He dips a finger into the water and gives it a taste. The sweet river water he has known for over 700 miles has completely given way to the taste of thick ocean brine.
Finally, he paddles right out into the open waves of the Gulf of Thailand, spots a bobbing marker buoy on the horizon, and paddles up to it. He touches the cold metal of Ocean Marker Buoy number 33. He lifts his blades from the water and lays his paddle across the thwarts for the final time. The journey is over.
So it really makes you wonder, when you trace a river to its very end, what do you truly find? After 720 miles, 58 days, surviving rapids, mysterious tides, and absolute urban chaos, did Steve Van Beek conquer the river, or did the journey down the river ultimately shape him? It's a remarkable testament to human endurance and the deeply revealing nature of travel. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the Chao Phraya. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.